Have you ever wanted to make your own animation? Well, you've come to the right place. We can use this amazing website, WickEditor.com, to make a pretty simple animation. So here we've got an e-safety tip. Let's have a look. A good password is like a... what is it like? Ooh, it's like a toothbrush. Don't share it. There we go, a simple animation. And what we're going to do is learn how frame by frame animation works and also how motion tweens work. So let's just have a look at this animation for a moment and see how it works. At the bottom here we've got what is known as our timeline, and then every time we've got one of these dots, that's when something happens. So as it plays, look, as it goes along, I'm just going to drag this playhead along. There's the first bit, and then we go to the next bit, a good password, and so on. So the length of this block here is how long that particular part of the animation lasts for. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this runs at 12 frames per second. 12 frames per second. So that means that 6 frames must be how long? How long do you think? If you said half a second, well done, you got it spot on. So we've got a keyframe here. This lasts for half a second, and then the next one, and so on. Now let's look what happens a little bit later on. We have got what is called a motion tween, and that is where the computer automatically figures out what we call the in-between frames. So all we need to do is specify a start position and an end position, and then the computer will automatically animate it between the start and the end point. Pretty cool, huh? So let's create one from scratch so you can see exactly how it works. So I'm going to click onto new, create new project. You will lose any unsaved changes. Yep, that's fine. Right, here we've got a brand new animation. So I'm going to click onto my brush tool, or you can use the letter B. If you've got your own tablet computer, this is pretty cool. You can use your own little stylus then for drawing, but if not, you can use the mouse. And I'm going to start by drawing the letter A. And there we go. Now at the moment this just lasts for 1 frame, so that's going to appear and disappear really quickly. So can you remember how long I made that A appear for in the last animation? It was 6 frames. So I can drag and drop, or drag this across rather, to frame 6. Now if you don't get this right, if you make it a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, it doesn't really matter, and you can always tweak it and change it later on. So that's our first frame. Now, to save me having to draw that A again, what do you think we could do? Yes, we can copy it. So as long as this is selected with this blue line around the outside, I can click on the copy button here, top right, or you can use a shortcut, Control C, if you prefer. I'm then going to click frame 7. Now I've just created a blank frame. That's what this hollow circle means. It just means that we've got a page and there's nothing on it. And what am I going to do next? Paste. There we go. So paste or Control V on your keyboard. And then I can write my next word. So what was it? Can you remember? It was... oh, good. There is a good. Now hopefully you can do the rest. So I'm going to do Control C, click here, Control V, and then write password. How good are your mouse movement skills? Now if it does go wrong, a useful shortcut is this undo button here, or Control Z. There's also the eraser up here, and you can also tweak the pen. So if you want a different color or a different style or thickness, you can play around with these settings and see what they do. So I've got a good password, so copy that one, Control C, go across a little bit on our timeline, Control V. A good password is, see if I can do this quickly, Control C, Control V, is like a, I'll do 2 in 1 on there just to speed things up so you don't get too bored, like a dot 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 dot. If you wanted to do a few dots individually and do a few shorter frames there, you can do, but just for quickness I'll leave it like that. Now let's preview this and see what it looks like. I'm going to click on the preview button. A good password is like a dot 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 dot. Now this is known as frame by frame animation. I just want to make this last one last a little bit longer so it builds up a little bit of tension. And then can you remember what happened next in the animation? I had a toothbrush. So I went to this website called flaticon.com, searched for toothbrush, and I found a toothbrush I like the look of. This red one here. So I clicked on that one. And then if you do use images and find them on the internet, make sure, if you can, that they're not too big. So 256 pixels is plenty big enough. And I will close that one, and I will click on PNG to download a PNG version. But also just a word on the images that you download. If they're too big, then the WickEditor might struggle with them, so you might just have to delete it and find a smaller one. Also, these are PNG graphics. Now sometimes on the internet you find WebP files, WebP graphics, and unfortunately they don't work with the WickEditor. So stick to PNG, GIF or JPEG if you can. So I'm going to download that one. Now we are supposed to give attribution, but it's just a little educational project, so we needn't do that. But it's just good to always give credit to whoever it was that created this lovely graphic that we can use. And it says how to give credit here, so we can copy the link and put that into our work to say where this icon came from. Anyway, so I click on the download button. It's already in my downloads folder anyway. How do we get it into the WickEditor? Well, bottom right hand corner we've got our lovely asset library. Now there's a plus button here, add built-in asset. No, we don't want that. We want this one, upload assets. And this is my downloads folder. There is my toothbrush. Open. Right, it is now in our assets library. Now you'll like this next bit because we are going to do a motion tween. So I'm going to click onto frame 43. It's 43 on mine. If it's a different number on yours, it's fine. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to drag and drop my toothbrush onto this area here is known as the stage. That's animation terminology, right? The stage. There it is. Now, if we use the cursor tool, I can click and move it around. I'm just going to plonk that in the middle somewhere. So to animate it, how does it work? How does a motion tween work? Well, I want it to last for about a second. So I'm going to click and drag. Now if it's a second, can you remember how many frames that would be? If it runs at 12 frames per second, that gives it away. It seems to be about 12 frames. You can guess it if you like. You generally get a feel for these things. Now for this, I am going to click on this button here, add tween. Okay, add tween, it's just hiding here. And it puts in all these dots. Now this is going to be the start position and this will be the end position. So at the end here, I want it to be really big. And at the beginning, click on it, I want it to be really small. So I can make it small. I could also rotate it as well, look. And then as if by magic, the computer will create all the in-between frames for us. Saves us a huge amount of work, that, doesn't it? So there's our lovely toothbrush. I'm going to copy it from our last frame, create a new frame, paste it, and then drag this out a little bit. So if I do that, you'll see the effect. So I'm going to click back here, run the animation. There it goes. Yeah, so I just want it to stay on the screen in this static position for a little while before it says toothbrush. So I'm going to copy this again, paste it here, and add the word. Remember, you can play around with the style of brush if you want to. Add the word, what was it? Toothbrush. Oh, here we go. U-S-H, exclamation mark. There it is. Now I want that to last a little while, so I'm going to drag that out. There we go. Now if you do create some frames by mistake like this, right, all you need to do is click on them and then press the delete key, or you can press the delete icon up here, right, so you can delete them like this and then resize them. Also toothbrush, where did I get to? A good password is like a toothbrush. And then, actually I don't want to copy and paste this one, I just want, so I'm going to select these and delete them. Yeah, so this is what kind of frame is this? Can you remember where it's just got the hollow dot? This is a blank keyframe, right? These, if it's got something on the frame, it's known as a keyframe. If there's nothing there, it's a blank keyframe. Final part then, almost there. What was the punchline? Don't share it. So you could make it appear one word at a time, but just to speed things up, I'm just going to write the whole phrase. Don't share it. There we go. I'll make that a little bit longer. You ready to see the whole animation? Right, let's hit that play button. A good password is like a ... There's the toothbrush. Don't share it. And there we have a completed animation. Now, if you want to share this and show all your mates, then you will need to export it. But just before we do that, there's just a word on saving. Every time you hit that save button, it will download a new file to your computer. Right, so if you're used to using the Google system or Microsoft system, it's not going to save it with all your other files how you might expect. This works a little bit differently, so just be mindful. Every time you hit that save button, it's going to download a new file. But rather handily, if that's such a word, it adds a date and a time to help you figure out which is the latest version. Anyway, so to share it with your teacher or all your mates, you click this export button, and this might look a little bit confusing, but we can give it a name. So it says my project, which is fine, or we can call it my toothbrush project or e-safety, whatever it's related to. Give it a sensible name. We don't want a video, we just want a GIF file. Now, there's some resolution options. I am just simply going to select the small one, 480p, right? Because I don't really want to be creating huge files here. I just want to create one with a fairly small resolution. Then you'll also find that it will be quicker as well if you create a small one. Export GIF. There it goes. It's now creating our animation, and we now have in our downloads folder an animated, oh, wrong one, drag that here so you can see it, our final animated GIF file. Right, so that GIF file is one that you could share with your friends or add it to a presentation, and other people will then be able to see your animation. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that, and you will have lots of fun doing this, and hopefully you're going to create some really cool animations and maybe be the next Pixar animator.